Hey guys, Brian checking in here with VetteSource on a Sunday afternoon. We've got a pretty mild January day here in southeast Texas, so much so that I'm sitting here wearing a t-shirt and shorts. So I feel for all you guys for in the freezing cold right now up north, but down here we got working on car weather, if I should say. So what I thought I'd bring back for you today is I'm going to kind of focus on the first Allante that we picked up in our pile of Allante projects. This is actually the first car I acquired a few years ago. It's been kind of on my slow burn project list, but today was nice enough and I wanted to kind of go over some things on this one. This is actually, I don't know if I remember talking about this last time, this is kind of an unusual color. It was in a custom color override for Allantes in '93 only. This is a blue-green metallic. I can't remember, not Verde Flax, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a special color code even on the sticker, the RPO sticker in the car. So it's a really unusual find. I think they made about 150 cars with this color on it. So what I'm going to do today, though, is because this poor thing has been sitting almost 9 years now because of some wiring issues that were made worse by somebody who didn't know what they're doing. The taillights have kind of gotten to be a little bit out of sorts. You may be able to see here, see these cracks in the taillights right here, and this is just age and sun exposure, stuff like that. But what I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about was in the 80s and 90s, GM and a lot of the other car manufacturers came up with this modular unit taillight assemblies that kind of, when you're looking at them, you kind of are glancing at them. If you haven't done this before, you're trying to figure out, how am I supposed to get all this out of here? So what I thought I'd do real quick today in a short video is show you guys how these come out of here and how they're made up, what they're actually made of. So let me go over here. I've got another taillight assembly that I polished up and had from the other 93 car Allante that I tore up for parts. I got a link to the video above where I started to deconstruct that car. So this is another Allante taillight assembly. It's not perfect either. It's got, obviously a crack there, but overall it looks really, really good, and I think I'm just going to put this one in for now. But what I was going to show you is, as you can see from here, there's no exposed nuts or bolts or even any apparent way to get this out of the car or even to see how it's installed. So if you've ever gotten in a situation where you've got a car with a broken taillight, or the police officer pulled you over for a broken taillight and then broke your taillight, like the old joke from the 70s, this is a way for you to get these taillights out. Primarily if you're driving 80s and 90s cars. I think they've kind of moved away from this now with the newer cars. Again, they've got a different structure. The taillights are higher up, on the corners usually versus across the entire back of the car. So again, in the front, you can't really see any method of taking these out. But when you turn it around, now this one's out obviously, I've taken it out, you can see that here are your bulb sockets where your bulbs go into the taillight assembly. And then here you'll see are your nuts with washers built in. So in this case, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 perimeter bolts with this gasket that goes around it, and that keeps the taillight in place while it's installed in the car. And then this rubber gasket obviously needs to go back on a little bit. But what I figured I'd do, and to show you, literally it takes all of about this amount of tools to get these out. These are trim remover tools, and I'll show you in a second what those are used for. A screwdriver just to pry some things out of the way, and then a 10 millimeter, preferably you can use a hand tool or just even a little electric impact like I've got here to get that out of here. So let me show you what's in here when we open up the trunk assembly. We'll get this key in here real quick. One thing I kind of think is neat on the Allantes, if you see here the keyhole, that lamp assembly, that is the third brake light for the car. I always thought it was kind of cool. And if you watch my video I did previously last week or the other day, here is that electric hatch pull-down motor. You can see it coming up as I open the trunk. So I've got the trunk open right now. This cover here is going to have to come off, and then this carpeted area over here on the bulkhead needs to come out. So what I'm going to do here in a second, I'm going to use that trim removal tool. I'm going to take all these little pieces out here. In fact, let me see if I can get one out while I'm on camera so you can see what I'm doing. Let's see, I'll take my screwdriver and my other tool here, and basically these are just going to slide in These that I have here are a little bit too big for this purpose, so I'll need to probably get my other ones, but I can probably use my screwdriver for now. So let me go ahead and get my other set of tools. That one came out, so you can see how that comes out of there. Let me go ahead and finish getting these out here for you though. Give me a few minutes, I'll be right back, guys, and I'll show you what this looks like when this panel is removed. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We've got the trim panel removed, and of course, like all things, forgot about these little tiny clips here in this corner that kind of sneak away. So just a reminder, you've got to look really carefully for the clips in the corner, or else you'll strong arm it and break it like I do and manage to cut your finger open. So you know, typical things when you're working on cars, but just thought to make you aware. So you actually got one more set of push pins in here to take out before you can get to it, and that just works really easily with the trim removal tool here. So we pop those out of here. And then we can get access to our taillight assembly. So put these down here in the corner where they belong, and we'll lift this one up with my fresh blood on it there. And as you can see, there are the bolts to our taillight assembly. Now, one thing I forgot, there's actually a module in here, so I'll probably have to remove this out of the way. Maybe not, I might be able to get to it. So what we'll do first is, I'm going to show you here, if you've never taken these out before to replace them, these are simply just a twist and pull. Those just come right out right there. These actually the same way. Your reverse lights here, you can tell those are clear. And then right here we've got 1 bolt here, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, 4 bolt, 5 bolt, and 6 bolt there. So let's get our impact driver with our correct attachment on it. See if I can swap this out real quick. I really need to get one of those head mounts. So that goes in there, stays in place. Okay. And we'll come in, we'll start from this side. Pull these out slowly. We'll put that right there for now. And this, I'll have to reach in here and get this one. And get my hand in there. Let's see if we can get this out of the way. Oh, that one fell, so I'll grab that one in a second. We've got this one here. This one here. This one here. And this one here. Alright, and then in the middle here, got the other one that we need to take loose over here so that we can get to it from there. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this one ready to pull out, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when we've got it taken out. And I'll collect my screws that fell everywhere, and we'll go from there. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Alright, we've got our taillight loose with all 6 of our mounting bolts off. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing to come out here. So as you can see, you want to pull not very hard on it. See, there we go. And it'll usually just pop right out for you. Oh, look, and then we get a stink bug. So go away, bud. Other side. There you go. Alright, so we get to this last little side marker right over here in the corner that we'll go ahead and take out. Don't rip that out because you don't want to break the taillight assembly. And then we'll go ahead and pull the taillight. So, as you can see, that's it. So, what looks to be kind of a daunting task is really not that terrible bad when you come down to it. Now, the way these assemblies are put together is you've got a several multi-layer piece here that's glued together in sections and then put together. So, let me get this one positioned real quick, and I'm going to show you guys what we got to do to get it back in there. It's not going to take too much longer. And this repair or reinstallation will apply to most GM cars from this era. A lot of them, the Caprices, the Impalas, the Buicks, the Camaros, and Firebirds 3rd gens all use the same kind of assembly. Now the Corvettes use a wholly different thing, and I'll have to go into those another day, the C4 Corvettes, because they make this look like child's play compared to the rocket science that's required to get those Corvette taillights out of there. So I'm going to pull this over here real quick. We'll get this positioned in the right way. And remember, this is going to go right here in this corner. This one goes bulb socket. If I can show you, let me do this first. This bulb socket simply just turns, goes in, turns the lock, and then you go back in place like so, as I'm holding the camera here, guys and girls. And that shouldn't scare you. It's just a matter of the tail light fitting up in there. And there it goes, see? So, tail light's back in. I'm gonna go ahead and get our nuts started here in a second, so give me a few minutes, I'll get right back to you, and I'll show you as we wrap up this install on tail light assembly for GM cars from the 80s to 90s. All right, we're back one last time with our screw mounting studs screwed in. So I'm gonna go ahead and take our low-speed impact here and get these guys situated and back in again. Now, one thing you want to remember is don't tighten these too tight, because you can crack the housing. As you can see, it was plastic. So, and when you're dealing with a car like this, where the taillight assemblies are inherently harder to find, you don't want to bust them, because a taillight for one of these cars is, if you're lucky, you'll find it for $150 to $200 per side. So, and that's just guaranteed that it's even going to be good. So our nuts are back in place, or screws. I got one more I got to put in back over there. A little bit of tightening up on this one here. Yep. So as you can see, our tail light's back in. It's flush, it's trim. Looks a lot better than our other tail lights. Sorry, I got the camera there kind of wonky. You can see it's actually kind of this Allante nice look, as I was saying before my phone decided to shut itself off on me. So sorry about that, guys. The continuity in my editing will probably be off there. But as you can see, everything's installed. What I'm going to do right now, real quick, while I got you here still, is go ahead and reinstall our lamps. We got this one here. Thing is, you just got to find out where their clocked at. They only really will go in one position. So you see here, you've got one opening that's a little bit bigger than the other. So as you go to put this in, it will inevitably flummox even me, supposedly. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I had it in the wrong one. So once you get that in there, you twist and turn, and then it's back in again. And the same thing with this one. Twist and find the right way position it's got to go into, and then once you're in there, if I can get this thing to go back in there, guys, I'm making a lie. There we go. And it's in, and we're done. So there you go, in a quick 10-minute tutorial. There is your GM headlights, or I'm sorry, tail lights of the 80s and 90s on our Allante project car. As you've mentioned, or I've mentioned before, we're down to the last 3 Allantes. I scrapped the 4th one to use as parts for these other 3. So keep looking on my videos. Subscribe if you'd like to see some of the updates I do on these, along with my other cars, my Corvettes and formulas I'm messing with right now. And I'll keep you guys up to date. Let me know if you'd like to see anything different or see some of the other things I work on. And we'll check back with you guys later this week. Thanks again for watching.